Okay. Okay, little brown boy. I Napoleon. I Kendrick Hart. I Kendrick Jefferson. I Kenny Bugs. Well, Bulbs. You know the dude from Space Jam. Short nigga. Him. Okay. You responded. I'm going to congratulate you. But before I even get to that, man, where my manners at? I was raised better than this. Oh my God. It's the Six Paths Commandments. Six Paths Dice here. Mr. Land, if you need me. What the fuck is up, yo? It's good with y'all. All right, so it finally happened. And I gave y'all some time. I gave you 8 hours. I don't know when the shit dropped. I gave you a couple hours, but I gave you some time so that if you're a Kendrick fan, you can soak it up. You can be happy. You're dirty savior. You know what I'm saying? The poster boy for niggas that underachieve in real life and they're just happy with nothing. You know what I mean? And I ain't say that Kendrick does that. I know it's that niggas who really ride for like Cole and Kendrick and whatnot, or make it a point to diss Drake. It's always a broke nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's always a nigga that down getting hoes. I'm sorry, it's you, bro. It's you. It's just like it was the same thing with when Jay was in his prime. Like, yo, niggas was straight hate on Jay, but they really was hating on Jay because Jay represented something that they couldn't be. He represented like that I guess what we call a high value man now. If you don't have I'm not necessarily saying you gotta be a high value man in terms of the parameters, in terms of the income and whatnot. But if you're not a man that's of a certain echelon, you don't relate to what Hope was talking about. If you're not really actually smart, or if you know what it is, work exposes all you people. You all get exposed with work. Because the thing is that you know how they tell you to follow the money, nigga, follow the work. And right now we're gonna follow the work real quick. So I think that Kendrick owes Drake a huge thank you. A huge thank you. He needs to send Drake champagne bottles, send him Jordans, send him the finest hair grease, hair food, if you will. He needs to send him a few goats. Because I realized with this whole thing, like, wow, Drake is making Kendrick relevant again. And it's been so long that those of us who are a bit older, we have to go back into history and really think about this. And I'm sorry, before I get to that, Kendrick, good job. I thought it was a very good track. Very, very good diss track. But you didn't write that. I'm sorry, y'all. He didn't. No. Kendrick does not do similes and metaphors, but don't worry about that. Let's get to the beginning, how this all started, and let's think about how a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone heard Kendrick this way first, but do y'all forget that Kendrick was one of the first people to get the Drake stimulus package? I forgot about that. The first time, because I had to think back to what made me want to hear Kendrick, what made me like Kendrick. And most people heard his amazing, beautiful verse on Buried Alive. That's a track that Drake's not even actually on. It's actually a Kendrick song. Ironically, but when you heard it, you couldn't tell if it was Kendrick or Drake. I thought it was Drake for a minute. Only because Kendrick was rapping in a higher registry and Drake was still rapping more in a higher registry. So it made them sound a little bit similar. And I'm sure that probably wasn't a mistake, but it was so artful. It's so perfect. And it was a great introduction. Cause again, you got to realize that everyone don't know everybody. This is before Good Kid, Mad City and before his buzz got all the way up there, but people forget his buzz got up there. Also, that verse helped him a lot because Kendrick was not who he is now at all before the Drake feature on Take Care. Buried Alive. I believe it came at the Marvin's Room. You know what I mean? Great track. But again, that's relevant. And so here we are now. And I think we are all right. As a battle rapper, I have a way different perspective on all this because I actually battle. So I have had to do this. What they're doing right now, that's light. They're rapping over a beat. I've done it in person to someone's face, and I've had to deal with winning and losing and understanding what this takes. So for us, this just sounds like rapping to us. I'm not really hearing these niggas rapping like, oh my God, this is the best rapper in the world. But again, I bring it up because as a battle rapper, what battle rap also forced you to do is force you to get further away from your biases, because you have to be able to accurately judge. So if you want to win your next battle, and let's say you didn't do that good in one battle, let's say your round wasn't received the way you wanted to be received, I have to have the self-correction. Big on the self-correction. The self-correction is what leads to everything that we want. Because the only freedom really is discipline. But anywho, I have to be able to make that decision. I have to be able to look back on what I possibly did wrong. You know what I'm saying? And correct that. But anywho, so I'm so sorry. So it's just a lot of different skills you learn battle rapping. And anywho, I'm sorry. Get off track here. When we hear this, right? It really shows us the importance of competition, because with this right here, and I'm not gonna lie, and I could be wrong, that don't even sound like Kendrick. I mean, it sounds like Kendrick because of, like the weirdo shit. But let's just kind of think about how Kendrick raps. When I heard him say, I pray my friends and my real friends, if not that I'm YNW Melly. These are battle rap bars. Like, those are like way too direct for him to be saying. I ain't gonna lie, Drake had a few of them joints. I said, when you start rapping like that? Shout out to Vada Fly. When you started rapping like that? When you start rapping like that, Kendrick? Since when do you have direct bars? Nigga, your first verse wasn't this direct. This is very direct. I'm like, that sounds specific. And what's ironic is that people don't realize that Kendrick is rapping for his life on this record. Rapping for his life on this record. He's not. The thing is, my thing was about when people argue with you about this whole Drake and Kendrick thing, is that they make it seem like it will be easy for Kendrick to just to come out there and just beat Drake in the battle, or it's just a definite thing that's going to happen. Do y'all realize that listen to the content of Kendrick's diss, and which I like it a lot, right? But if you've been paying attention to Black YouTube or just social media in general, he included a lot. He threw everything he could at Drake all at one time. And Kendrick, I gotta make room for the possibility that Kendrick may have emptied his clip. I don't think I realized that Kendrick's not really ready for us to be a battle. But going back to what I was saying about him making Kendrick relevant again, so Drake is a big part of how Kendrick. That look gave him a lot of light, because I think Section 80 might have already been out, but a lot of people went to Section 80 because of that verse. So here we are again. Not only that, Drake gave Kendrick the bigger one, actually the best record he had on Good Kid, Mad City in terms of how it performed on the radio, in terms of it being like a hard record. Yeah, so we kind of forget about that now, but I do think that it would have helped Drake's career a lot, because again, we need new challenges. And I think the lack of, because whether or not people like it or not, battle rapping is a part of rap, and that's one of the reasons why rap stopped elevating, because there's no climax to the competition. The cool thing about rap is you can compete directly with the other person and address them and talk about them, and there's a way to do it. Whereas like two R&B singers, I mean, people have done it, you know what I mean, but they can't really diss each other in a way that makes sense, you know what I mean, or where it's very direct, where it's like, yo, this whole song is about you and we're going to listen to it, right? Or if you do folk music, you can't do a folk song, you can't diss a nigga in a folk song. I can't talk shit with a folk song. You simply can't get jiggy with it. I'll make the rules, but I will enforce them. So, Kendrick throws the whole kitchen sink at him on his jaw. Yo, Kendrick is on 3 different tracks rapping, which is fine. Which we think he's going to do that. But it's interesting hearing him rap. Like, man, so he makes a comment about Ghost Riders. And I'm like, Kendrick knows how much y'all believe in him. So I mean, you gotta realize that everything is psychology, right? So one thing that Kendrick know about this battle is that he can always play on the fact that niggas hate light skinned niggas, and it's an acceptable thing to play on someone not being black enough because they light skinned, or someone's biracial, always calling their blackness into question, right? Shout out to the argument. I think he made some of these points. You can always black people will always relate to you if you're the darker skinned person talking shit about light skinned people. You know what I mean? Or calling them into question. Sir, you had no problem with Drake saying nigga when he was on his album. You had no problem saying nigga when Drake was giving you a number one. But that was smart. Kendrick plays on your insecurity. He's playing on your insecurity right now. But I want to also just get into the behavior. Don't let certain shit go over your head. The I hate you part is not random. You know what I'm saying? And let me see. Where is it at? Let me see. Oh yeah, when nigga said it's always been about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch a flight, it's going to be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real women. And notice I said it's not just me. I'm with the culture feeling. How many fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acting tough. You know what's funny about this shit is that now skullduggery rise, right? I'm gonna get a little trick of the trade. One of the best ways, if you want to when you battle somebody, if you want to insult somebody, right? One of the best things you can do, and the easiest thing to do, because it's way easier to criticize yourself. Whatever you criticize yourself about, people usually kind of share the same problems. So what you can always do, if you want to, because most of the time when someone's dissing you and they keep saying the same thing, they're usually kind of, for the most part, projecting on you. Whatever they feel on the inside, especially when it feels like it just flows so freely, that's what they really feel, right? So when he says that, I'm like, you know what? It would make sense that Kendrick is jealous of Drake. Kendrick loves Drake. Kendrick has always loved Drake, and he's always wanted to be closer to Drake, which is why he started this thing to begin with. Something went on between them saying that Drake stopped fucking with him. It wasn't about that. But something went on between them. You know what I'm saying? And actually, we got to think about where the hate starts, though. The hating started even on his verse on Buried Alive. Matter of fact, let's go look up Kendrick's verse on Buried Alive. Give me 1 second, you freaking millennials and zennials. Don't go nowhere. Relax, okay? Kendrick. Buried lyrics. All right. Yeah, even actually, yeah, yeah, this whole thing is about him hating on Drake. Looking in the mirror, I'm embarrassed. I'm feeling like a suicidal terrorist. React like an infant whenever you are mentioned. Mind over matter never worked for my nemesis. I'm in the matter of arm wrestling hands I was dealt. When I said the music business was all that I needed, when I got it, I was greeted by an alien that said last year that she slept with a Canadian. They gave him an addiction that kept him in Mercedes-Benz. Bright lights and Rihanna as the lady friend. My vice is similar. Women love when you're my type, and when you're winning from everything your palm right. But her in the Palms Hotel of Sin City, devil in a dress, platinum Chanel, live ambience and all. Because the audience one day said I would do it. So instead of a verse being read, I'm gonna go and get some head off the strength of my music. That's another joint he had. Oh, I think it's when he talks about when he met Drake. All right. Nigga said, I tell a bad bitch your ass too fat, capitalize that. And your weave look good with the Indian tracking device on your used 5 series. I don't call back, just blaming on your Canadian. The same day we say me in the area cruising in Toronto. Had him on cellular, thought he was gonna sell me a false word like some rappers I know. Sat down with a few drinks located where they can't see us. A white waitress on standby when we need her. A black made back 40 pulled up in a Jeep, no doors, all the nigga was missing was Aaliyah. Felt like the initiation, reality of living in the matrix. We talking casually about the industry, how the women be the tastemakers for the shit we making. Then he said he was the same age as myself, and it didn't help because it made me even more rude and impatient. Then he said he was the same age as myself, and it didn't help because it made me more rude and impatient. So blaming on Mr. OVO XO. The reason why I'm breathing all the vanity I know. The reason my best friend said she loved me more than life, but I live a double life. I need to let her go. The reason why the highlight was when he said you belong to the people when you're outside. So dig a shovel full of money, full of power, full of pussy, full of fame, and bury yourself alive. And I died. So this journey is not recent, it's not random. From the beginning, he wrote a whole verse about being jealous of Drake and put it on Drake's album. Say it again. Let's speak on it again. Wrote a whole verse about hating on Drake, then put it on a man's album. And you know what? Maybe that, you know, and it was so slick that no one caught on the fact that he was kind of not dissing Drake, but basically really, and maybe being vulnerable. Because when he said he was the same age as myself and maybe more rude and impatient. What he's saying is that, damn, yo, this guy, because you got to realize this is before Kendrick started getting money. Kendrick was broke until that first album, bro. Until the first couple of tours. They talked about being broke and not having nothing, right? And actually it was kind of documented when they first started getting that bad, because this is when social media started to really social media and everything. So you got to think about how he's feeling. He's frustrated. He hungry, right? And he meeting Drake for the first time. And for the most part, Drake is trying to help the nigga out. He's like, yo, I think you dope. I'm gonna put you on my second album. Drake is the biggest nigga in the country at this point. Kendrick is not, he's not Kendrick yet. You know? But anywho, so this has been going on for a long time. And I don't know. I don't know. I can't say if the timing is not good or if it should have happened before, but I think it would have helped both their careers. Kendrick has kind of always, and that's another thing too, Kendrick has always needed Drake. I don't think Kendrick is wrong in trying to get Drake to go at him, but I realized, like, I never thought about, we realized that, yo, we've known Kendrick for so long, and we've held Kendrick in such a high esteem for so long. Mostly because he fits more into what black people like to uphold, which is the poor righteous teacher. There's someone who's just not doing it for the money. You know what I mean? And it feeds into the idea that black folks do not like seeing other black people with anything. That's why you don't like Drake. Okay, you don't like seeing black folks, you know what I mean, who move how they want to move. You know what I mean? Who show up polished and clean. You relate to Kendrick more, you know what I'm saying, because you feel like, he don't give a F like me. You know what I mean? So therefore, when I see Kendrick, I don't gotta do no work. I can just keep being how I'm, I can keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So another thing I'm gonna touch on that's really interesting was, I got my man, he sent me the track. He said, yo, your man don't stand a chance. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If y'all think if Drake has been baiting Kendrick to come outside, again, Kendrick may not. I don't think Kendrick is ready to keep going. If it took Kendrick a couple of weeks to come out with this, and again, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it a lot because we like Kendrick. But what I will say is that I think there's a lot of great lyrics in there and whatnot. I mean, it is 6 minutes compared to, like, I'm gonna give him wrong. Drake do got 2 and whatnot, but it's like, all right, nigga, that nigga dropped on you twice. I think Drake is ready to go about 3 or 4 more rounds. I mean, at least 2 more. I don't think, like, the way Drake is acting, the way he's talking, Drake is ready to get this nigga his fade. He's ready to go all the way in. And honestly, like, the first time you heard Drake go after this nigga Kendrick, niggas was like, yo, like, yo, they go, like, it was so hard, that you niggas thought it was AI. That's how hard this nigga was going. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Going back to the projection piece. Listen, I don't give an F what none of y'all say. If y'all really think that Kendrick wrote that, you're bugging. If you think that he wrote that whole thing, you're tripping. If you can't hear that, a lot of the ways he's rapping, that's not how Kendrick raps. That's not even Kendrick don't have bars that sound like that. Those, like I said earlier, he didn't have bars this direct. The double entendres, y'all never caught on to the fact that Kendrick don't really do double entendres. Like almost never. You never caught on to that. So I'm like, nigga, you ain't just figure out how to rap direct. Kendrick is not a direct rapper. Kendrick is a great. He puts verses together very well. And he really just is extremely creative. His creativity is so great that it makes you feel like everything he say is that great. But again, it comes back down to relatability. You know what I mean? But anywho, I want to touch on competition before I finish this shit. I gotta make my I guess I done shit the bed or having dinner tonight. Anywho, competition is really important because again, like I said earlier, like it adds a climax to it gives the environment, like it gives stories a climax. You know what I mean? And it helps to kind of like define an era. And we really needed this. We really and I implore everyone in your person, like, yo, you need competition. When there's no more competition, shit stops getting interested. That's one of the reasons why the dating scene is trash now. Like, no, like, don't get me wrong. Well, men are forced to compete, right? But it's interesting. I've been exploring this idea of all the things that you're socialized to do because of the women in your life, especially for men, right? Men are socialized out of questioning the motives behind anything that women do, to the point where like men don't realize that women put you in a state of mind where you don't make them compete with other women who actually want you. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting for that to happen to you, if you're an attractive person. You know what I mean? And not that someone has to act afraid, but for the most part, it doesn't matter how old the guy is. The guy always thinks about not so much losing his girl, but he doesn't want to like lose her interest. He doesn't want her to stop being attracted to him. Like he doesn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all men are like trying to be in great shape or doing a bunch of crazy stuff, but he doesn't really like just take for granted that she'll never like leave him or some guy won't ever try to take his woman. You know what I mean? Especially if she look good. But anywho, saying but nah, man, we need competition, all right? And we shouldn't shy away from competition and challenges, And I think that, if this would have gone on more, where because what this is about, honestly, even though they going at each other, it's mostly about who's the nicest. It's like mostly about that. It's mostly about who's really the big dog. But don't get it twisted, man. Kendrick has always needed Drake, and Kendrick has always loved Drake, and Kendrick and we win a lot of Kendrick might not have had these classics if Drake had given that big push in the beginning. Don't forget about that. Okay. And also the colorism shit. Yo, bro, fam, like you can't tell me that he wasn't watching social media to hear these arguments and whatnot. Yo, he took everything, and it was smart because he had to throw that in there to jade you his way. And it's smart. Right. Anyway, so I want to touch on that, man. I hope y'all good, man. I hope y'all safe. Drake made Kendrick, and Drake made Kendrick relevant again. Kendrick has always needed Drake, man. 6 Pass, Dice, Mr. Lane. If you need me, please like, share, subscribe. Yeah, boy. I know where that